Good evening, Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you.
Good evening.
There are three kinds of speeches to the speech you actually give at the club. The first speech is the speech which you practiced in front of the mirror and probably like him in front of his girlfriend. The second speech is the one which you gave at the club. And the third one is the one which you wish you could. How many of you have experienced that? Most of us. After the speech is over, we wish we could have done this. One of the prime reasons is that it's the wrong selection of the topic, or a topic not being researched well. The biggest nightmare for a budding speaker is the selection of a topic. Established speakers like Robin Sharma, Satyanarayana Raju, they can speak on leadership, they can speak on laughter. Vacant can speak on the different kinds of beers in the world. They are experts of it. But what do a budding speaker do? Let's start from personal experience. When I say personal experience, it's not sitting behind a computer. Speeches are not written sitting behind a computer, just thinking about it. And speeches are not written from one personal experience, but from exploring personal experiences. Speeches are not written from knowledge, but exploring knowledge. Speeches are not looking at just hobbies, but a different angle of hobbies. And speeches are not written by just having beliefs, but giving a twist and a message to the audience. Let's start with personal experiences. All of us had personal experience, ups and downs in life, the challenges we faced, an accident, a death, so many things. But what differentiates speech selection? Someone might say, I visited the pyramid. How can I choose this as a topic? Everybody must have visited the pyramid, and it's so boring if you go to the internet. But let us look a little more deeply. From my own personal experience, when I was doing my speeches, I had the same problem. But there's something about the curiosity factor, the childlike mind. One of my uncles died from alcoholism, and I went and visited his funeral. And everybody were blaming him for drinking too much. That was only anger. But my thought was the suffering of the family, what made him drink, and how one can get addicted and how one should actually give up. And I went into more and more research. I started attending Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. I understood the processes. Yes, I went and attended to learn how the processes. Okay, I did a lot of research. The most beautiful thing I found out was that the World Health Organization says alcoholism is a disease and it's not your fault. So I told my wife, it's not my fault I drink beer. Don't bother. But she replied and says, it also says that you're not responsible for a disease, but you're responsible for recovery. So personal experience, if you start going a little more deeper into it, you get a different angle, a different perspective. It's not just sharing your personal experiences, but what is it there for the audience? A friend of mine called Prakash had a malignant tumor, suffered cancer, and was on the deathbed. And doctors had written him off. But what kept him alive was his thought, his mind, his belief that he could live. And it is a fabulous middle for a speech. But understand that if he keeps giving these 7-minute speeches in 7 clubs, he will lose interest, is it not? It becomes mundane and boring for the speaker. How do you give a little bit of energy to the speech? He started talking to people who had experienced cancer. He started talking to people who recovered from cancer. He spoke to the families. And what he found was one common element: every single person who had defeated cancer was because of the mind and not because of medicine. And he focused on that mind over matter. And he went so much deep into that, he started doing his research and he brought out so many medical products because of that. Mind over matter. The topic from cancer into mind over matter. So he shared his personal experience, gave a little twist to it, gave a different dimension to personal experience. So personal experience is a fabulous tool, but you've got to keep your eyes and look beyond your personal experience. Ask yourself, from my personal experience, what can the audience learn and experience and learn from it? Absolutely. And let's move on to some knowledge. Let us say Ramesh is a HR expert. So he can talk about HR practices, but that would be a little boring. Kumar can talk about the building practices, how to build a multi-story building. But they need to look beyond that. Ramesh can probably talk about how do I balance professional and personal life, which will be more interesting to all of us than just the sheer fact of knowledge. Yeah. Kumaran can talk about how to avoid child labor. He can talk about how earthquake can be prevented by constructing power buildings. So your knowledge must be shared in a different method. There was this little boy who had a hobby. Let's come to hobbies. If you have a hobby, he had a hobby of hacking computers. So he was an expert, just a 9-year-old kid, and he gave a speech in one of the speech clubs on 3 minutes. The topic was called the ethical guide to hacking. No, it was called the unethical guide to hacking. So about half the speech he was talking about the tips about hacking, and there was a kid in the class who got up and said, Anand, what you're speaking is completely ethical guide to hacking, it's not unethical. He said, I was waiting for this question. The question was, I hacked the computer ethically, but because of that I neglected my studies and I failed in my subject. Okay, so that was unethical and not the ethical guide to hacking. So you can give a different twist to a topic. So we spoke about your personal experiences, the ups and downs and challenges, but look beyond your personal experience and see what the audience can give. Your knowledge, just not the knowledge, a twisted knowledge, how the audience can give. Now talk about belief system. Let's talk to my friend Vinod. I think you met my son Ashwin, right? Okay, and he's now in New Zealand and he had gone to meet Vinod in the Association of Physical and both of them got into very constructive arguments. Did not. And he came back and told, I met your friend Vinod, fabulous gentleman. I had a beautiful dialogue with him for about a couple of hours. I said, what was it? He said, no, he's a firm believer in God and spiritual religious man. I'm an atheist, you know that. So we got into a very constructive argument. So you had a fight with him. He said, no, we didn't have a fight. We had a beautiful constructive argument. And he said, Dad, it's not about belief in God. It's not about he's a religious person. It's not about I'm an atheist. It's about the question which I would like to ask you, is there a God in you? Why don't you look at that instead of just focusing on spirituality and religion? Is there a human being in you? Now he's got a strong belief. You have a strong belief that laughter therapy will work. You have a strong belief that something is good for you. But how do you convey the core of the message to the audience and drive home your point? It's virtually impossible in 7 minutes for me to convince the audience that you can stop believing God. Is it not? But how do I give it a different twist and message? So a personal belief, even if the audience don't believe it, you may be for euthanasia, you may be against euthanasia, but what twist, what angle you can give to the particular belief system is important. One of the most important things in whatever topic you choose is the passion behind the topic. Let's say a personal experience. My nephew Santosh is there. He went through a very bad childhood, very violent kid, had psychiatric treatment, and his parents virtually threw him out. They put him in a hostel. And he worked his way up and people had completely written him off. He was very violent, aggressive. Somehow he made it and he went to the US, and when he landed on the university he had only $50. So from there he went on. He has 3 patents in his name now. He works for IBM. In the last visit to Toastmasters convention, I met him and I got him addicted to Toastmasters. 6 months back he joined Toastmasters. He's a member in 3 clubs. He's won the area level evaluation contest, area level humorous speech contest, and area level speech level contest. 3 months. Now at this convention when he went, there was a visitor who was not a Toastmaster, and they went out for a beer, and his passion for Toastmasters and his experience in life, he started speaking to the guest over a glass of beer. And this gentleman, he said, I've never seen anybody so passionate about life, so passionate about Toastmasters. It's fabulous. I came to this convention to select a speaker from the 7 or the 10 finalists, okay, to speak at my annual business convention for 45 minutes. He says, I'm selecting you. I don't even know how you want to speak, but your passion and the way your life has changed is fabulous. He took an open check and he said, fill up, and I'll give it to you. He said, no. He gave him $3,000 for a 45-minute speech. That's the passion you have for life, which you get converted into beautiful happiness. So do not write speeches sitting behind desks. Speeches are written out there, reliving your experience, reliving your knowledge. Research. What is research? It is just formalized curiosity. You have to pry, you have to poke, and you have to push. Then you have fabulous material. But these are all familiar topics. Your personal experience, your knowledge, your skills in a particular area, your hobbies. You know, at a particular time, we have some unfamiliar topics. Now, how do I go? I finish 7-8 project. What do you do next? Now, this is where the curiosity factor comes. Let us say you're going the new metro. Now, what would you talk about, Raja? You just take your first ride or second ride in the metro, the new metro, between Barapanalli and Indranagar. What would you talk about? You're coming and sharing your experience. What would you talk about? After you visit. Yeah.
After having a ride in metro, I can say, I had a nice ride and observed the beauty of Bangalore, green trees, and even I have observed some poor children who are begging around the railway station, and there's some beautiful girls around NG Road.
So what's the speech material over there? The beautiful girls around metro?
That is not my core area.
Then you shouldn't be talking about it. It is not your core area, it is coming from the subconscious mind. Thank you. Okay. So Raju gave a different twist to it, or different thank you. So when you're in a metro, the first thing you're fascinated with the ride. Now, immediately you got to look around, like you got to look around. What caught Raju's attention was the girls probably. Probably the poor girls begging. That was a speech material. Now you're looking in the metro, you can wonder why this ride is so clean and so beautiful. When you just get around a few kilometers to the railway station, it's really pathetic. And you start researching, and finally you can end up with a subject. It is the attitude which is important. You have a topic called attitude. Yes. When you are choosing unfamiliar topic, there's a technique called think, link, and ink. Okay? Okay. Think of a topic. Tell me a topic. One topic. Bangalore traffic. When I talk about Bangalore traffic, what do you think? Or what comes to your mind?
A lot of people.
Lot of people. So what comes to your mind when you mention a lot of people?
The attitude of people.
Attitude. What comes to your mind when you say attitude?
Anger.
What comes to your mind when you say anger?
Reckless driving.
Reckless driving. You got a topic over here.
Road race.
Huh?
It leads to road race.
It goes to reckless driving. No, reckless driving alone is not a topic. What do you want to do? That's important. You have to tell in one sentence what is it you want your audience to feel and think after your speech is over. It's called the FAT formula. After my speech is over, what do you want the audience to think, feel, and act? If you cover these three dimensions from next to driving, then your work is over. So many times when I do a workshop on communication skills, the L&D head will say, somebody's already done a topic on communication skills. I said, fine. But when I give them the approach, when I give them the topic, the objectives, and the whole method, I say, this has not been done before. So what is it you can give a new look? Every time think, what is it you can give the audience which is something new, special? Most of the Toastmasters talk in clubs for what? Project guidelines, good. Getting the best ribbon, good.
Completing the project.
Completing the project, good. That is not the core area. The core area is, do I have anything of value to share with the audience? When you shift your approach from this to that, you will get topics automatically. The passion comes, the conviction comes. Why is there a project called Speaking with Sincerity and Conviction? Don't worry about who you are, what you're standing. Worry about what message you're giving the audience. Then you can get topics automatically. So unfamiliar topics, you've got to be like a child. Right? I was talking about this boy who visited pyramid. He can just say, I went to the pyramid, I got into the flight and all that. But the curious mind of a child, which most adults do not have. He did so much of research, the curiosity. He made a speech for 3.5 minutes, how a pyramid can be constructed. That's looking beyond. That's the curiosity, unfamiliar topics. Now when you look at any TV serials, history channels, geographic channels, different dimensions of leadership come, different dimensions of attitude come. So many unknown stories of leaders come. I watch a serial called Grey's Anatomy. Okay? There's a sense of humor, there's a sense of challenge, there's so much of medical challenge. You know how many speeches you can write from one hour program, 40 minutes program? It's about the sense of humor in the most toughest conditions. It's all the interpersonal relationship problems we have. It's about the medical practices different in India and US. And you can talk about the care of the human beings. Why doctors are different in US and India? And with one serial you can get 10 topics. So when you have to look at the media. Now unfamiliar topics, the newspaper could be a fabulous idea. I practice something called the filing system over the last 20 years. Okay, it could be anything. I always, this Sunday you have this, which Sunday magazine, you have all the spiritual things coming out. What is it? Speaking. Okay. So I get all articles about subconscious mind, about Zen stories. I keep filing them. What I do is wherever I see newspaper articles, anything which interests, I just mark it out and leave it up. My daughter and my wife will cut it and put it up in one file. Other weekend, what I do, I start segregating it. One way of segregating is chronological order, A, B, C, D. A for attitude, B for book, C for cat, whatever. Another way of segregating is topic-wise, sports, disaster, attitude, spirituality, one method. Another method is by date-wise, topic-wise, sub-wise. Whatever you do, you just keep filing it away. And when you want to give a topic on the power of the mind, you have everything over it. You read, you've read it before, you reinforced it, and then you start speaking it. So media filing system is absolutely brilliant. Another thing is about keeping a journal. Keeping a journal. Happening very silly things in life, a humorous incident, an anger, a stress, something in the office, unexpected thing, just note it down in bullet points. That becomes a speech medium. So these are the various ways you can actually write a speech. Most thing is the curiosity factor. It is very important. You have to be like a child. You want to explore more. You won't believe when I wrote a speech, 7-minute speech for AIDS. I visited the AIDS center. I spent 3 months with the children. I took them out. I rehabilitated them. I took school children over there. I did so much of work that I had so much of knowledge to speak for 7 minutes. Then only the conviction will come. It's not about preparing a 7-minute speech. It's not only about transition, opening, closing. They are important. But what is the heart of a speech? It's your experience, your share. How you look at things different is absolutely important. How long do you have?
17 minutes.
17 minutes over? Okay, another 8 minutes. Okay. I look at things sometimes in a humorous way at life. A few days back, I was standing on the terrace. Early morning, I just walked out at 6 o'clock. I suddenly, heard a screeching noise of a woman. I ran to the balcony and I saw a lady around 30-35 years running down the street. And there was this guy, maybe her husband, I'm not sure. He was chasing and throwing stones at her and trying to beat her with the sticks. Okay. And finally, she disappeared into the corner. And I saw him huffing and puffing. I was really angry and upset that he was beating his wife. So I got down and asked him, what kind of a guy you are beating your wife? The moment I asked him, he broke down. He said, sir, I've been married for 7 years. Every day my wife drinks and beats me. Today is the first day I ran behind her. I'm feeling very sad about that. Now this got me thinking. Fabulous speech topic. What you see is what you get, not what you get. How perception, judgments, nothing right, wrong or anything. It's a beautiful topic to do 1 hour session, 1 hour session also. Is it not? You need to look at life differently, humorously, not jump to conclusions. One aspect of actually preparing speech topics or getting speech topics is to be non-judgmental in your approach. The moment you are judgmental in your approach, if you do not have an open mind, you are shut and topics are not floating, ideas are not floating. They are only in one channel or one particular track like 2 railway lines running. The mind is not open, not like a horse. That's why you need to look at it. So you have to keep your mind open. So let me reinforce the whole thing. Sadhana Raju, what are one of the methods of selecting a topic?
Take a few objects and few places and few people. Just jumble it out. You find famous sentence. You find it out.
Thank you. What are the topics you're given now? Project 1 to 7, tell me. What are the different topics you're given? No, all the topics you're given now. Project 6, Project 7, what are the topics you're given?
Second one, I gave second project. Manage your stress, otherwise it will kill you.
Okay, then?
Second one is about the soft drink. The title is, it's official, you can die. It's about effects of soft drink. Fourth one about my journey from my birthplace to home. The fifth project is all about small toys.
What was the take-home point of your journey from here to your home? What was the message for the audience? What is the message for the audience? No issues. So now, if we do not remember our speeches and message, how will the audience remember? I'm not blaming Raju. I'm not blaming you. There has to be something core. Is it not? I don't know the time when Venkat was preparing his speeches. I think every speech had a core message, a takeaway for the audience. It's very important. We are not speaking for ourselves, we are speaking for the audience. Everybody sitting over there will ask the question, what is in it for me? So do not forget that. Finally, there's another aspect of choosing topics. It's called horses for courses. Let us say someone calls you and asks you to give a speech, a Rotary Club or a Lions Club on a topic which you're not familiar with. You have a choice. If you're busy, you can leave it off and say I'm not familiar, or you can choose another one. I got a call about 10-15 days. One company wanted me to do something called disability management. I did not know what in the world was disability management. And I said, I can't do it. They said, come on, we want your help. You can do. Nobody's there to do it. And I went and did a lot of research. In fact, I wanted to contact you. I didn't have your number. So I called a lot of people involved. And finally, I came to know most organizations in the world have a program called disability management for employees who suffer from accidents or serious sickness and who are not able to come back to job. And there's a process, there's a documentation which makes it beautiful for the employee to come back to the job very quickly in a safe and positive way. So the time, money, everything is saved, human rights is saved, both for the employee and for the company. It was such a fabulous topic connected to my counseling skills. For a 2-day workshop, I told them I'll charge you 60,000. He said, okay, because nobody didn't take. So you learn and you earn. Is it not? So there are various aspects of looking at it. So I'll just leave the last 3-4 minutes for anything we like to discuss, ask questions or exchange some ideas.
You said about some TV program and what is the Grace? Something you said?
Grace on Grace on.
Which channel is it?
Beautiful. Which channel is it?
Star Plus.
So Star Plus, you know better. I just watch it 2-3 times a week for the beautiful message it has got. Fantastic message. Any questions you have? Yeah.
Once we get the topic, how do we weave it around?
First is the central message. Don't mind opening and closing first. Don't do that. Don't start a speech in a typical manner. First start with what is do you want to inform? Do you want to influence? Do you want to persuade? Do you want to entertain? Or is it a combination of these ideas? Okay, my speech is to persuade and inspire, but it can also entertain. Okay, so at the end of my speech, I want the audience, okay, to think that stress is killing us. I want them to feel that stress can ruin your life, and I want them to start taking steps to prevent stress. This is in a nutshell. This is what you want the audience to do. So you have to write in one sentence, at the end of my speech, this is what I want my Toastmaster friends to think, act, feel. Please use this platform to experiment, make mistakes and learn. Out in the world, these tactics will not work. Is it not? It's beyond science what is going to be difficult. So that is the core area. Then you start building. You can use a formula, point, example, point. You can use statistics, support, all those things you know. But the core is, what is the takeaway from the audience? What do you want to tell them? Then you can build around it. But see, I tell you, we want results without action. How many iterations does a speech go through? Your speech. How many iterations does it go through? How many times you? 5 times. That's how many times? How many? When you prepare a speech, how many changes did it go through? Major changes, not word here or there. How many versions you have? How many changes you made?
24 times.
Not enough. I have 7 versions of every speech, which has gone through 50 iterations every speech. And every time I come and make changes further and further, make better. You getting the point? No pain, no gain. You have done the speech, you're satisfied, you put it and throw it off. That's a no. How can I make it better? Is it the best speech in the world? So that is another problem we have. It's not only the topic. It's not only the topic. It's a depth, how much you have to go through. Can you make it better? Can you be economical on words? Can you convey more in less words? Can you paraphrase it better? Is there an emotion? Have you painted pictures? Is there a conversation? Is there a connection between paragraphs? There's a transition. Am I repeating points again and again? And what is the final takeaway? Did I create that wow experience for myself and the audience? not just choosing a topic.
In humorous speeches, does it need to have any takeaway value or just entertaining?
No, it can have a takeaway value. I would have a takeaway value. I always have. And one of the problems humorous speeches fail is because we shouldn't use jokes. Adapting jokes only to a certain extent. I do workshops day, 8 hours, 16 hours, 24 hours. What are workshops? It's only sense of humor. Connecting with the audience in my life, on the spot. For that you should love life. So it's not just about, it should have a takeaway value, preferable. That will be strong. That will be the punchline. Yeah.
What happens when ideologies clash
Your ideology is clash on.
between the audience and the speaker?
Okay.
Okay, for example, as a teenager, I'm discussing my teenage problems, and there are people in the audience who have a parental view. So the ideologies may crash. And
Nowhere in the world audience ideology will match you. Not necessary to match. It's about giving your viewpoint, your experience. It's about your perspective. It need not be same. It's about your viewpoint. It's more important how strongly you feel about the ideology. That's important. And that it's about agreeing to disagree. It's what Aristotle says that no, I do not definitely agree with what he said. What you're talking is nonsense and bullshit. But I'll definitely defend your death that you are right to say it. Is that passion flowing? Is that conviction flowing? Is it making Venkat adding to what I am saying? That way. So your strong belief that energies will spread. So you don't worry about the audience. But don't disagree with them, don't get into argument with them. Respect his view and carry on. That's audience challenges you have. How do you interact with the audience? Yeah, you can do it.
Can I have the same sincerity in my speech when I speak for an occasion or for some benefits like money?
The purpose of your speech should never be money. The object of your speech should be different. You can make money as a byproduct. Your focus is that you will not get the
have the same sincerity. Right?
Otherwise, don't attempt the topic. Otherwise, don't attempt the topic.
It
If you don't have
the corner
conviction,
of your mind. It will always be in the corner of your mind.
So don't take the topic. If I can't stop smoking, I shouldn't be talking about it. See, if any topic you take, you live it, practice, walk the talk, and then deliver it. Otherwise, don't talk about listening or anything. I do a 2-day workshop on listening leader because I'm a poor listener. I want to learn. I want to listen. I tell the audience I'm not a good listener, sorry. If you don't have convictions, don't talk about it because it will heat like a gas cylinder. It will show that you're not convinced about it. Everybody will know. Or you can only fool some people sometimes. So coming back that the human brain starts working the time the kid is born, and it stops when we have to give a speech in front of a Toastmasters club anywhere, right? But we join Toastmasters to overcome that problem. But once again, our brains freeze when we have to start choosing topics. To overcome this problem, you have to be like a child. Curiosity is more important than knowledge, Albert Einstein says. The more you like a child, the more you explore your personal knowledge, the more you look at things differently, the more you put effort, you can become a fabulous speaker. Back to you, Toastmaster.